My video for March the 21st, 2020 is number 3402. The title is 2-Week Nationwide Quarantine May Be Coming. A friend sent this to me. The headline was, quote, "Alert, special public announcement. Read this and get ready," end quote. It said, again, quote, "Homeland Security is preparing to mobilize the National Guard, preparing to dispatch them across the U.S. along with military. They will also call in first responders. They are preparing to announce a nationwide 2-week quarantine for all citizens. All businesses closed. Everyone at home. They will announce this as soon as they have troops in place to prevent looters and rioters. They will announce before the end of the weekend. Within 48 to 72 hours, the president will evoke what is called the Stafford Act. The president will order a 2-week mandatory quarantine for the nation. Stock up on whatever you need to make sure you have a 2-week supply of everything. Please forward to your family and friends," end quote. There you have it. We have been alerted by some of the same people who 4 years ago said the RV was imminent. I'm not sure which weekend they have in mind, but I'm sure it has something to do with the virus scare. You decide what is really happening and what course of action you will take. Actually, I'm pretty sure that it's this weekend they have in mind. This is when the panic is going on regarding the virus, and there's nothing easier to manipulate than a public that is in panic mode. We look for anybody that promises to save us from the situation. I know, I've been there. We've all been there, haven't we? At least most of us, I'm sure. But then again, I don't trust the government. I don't trust Donald Trump. I don't trust the Federal Reserve. I don't trust the military in many cases now, and law enforcement either. You know, I've been burned by a lot of these organizations that I thought when I was younger were legitimate. And there may have been more legitimacy at that stage of my life than there is now. But over time, the screws have been tightened and controls have been more and more implemented and put in place to enslave us and let us know that we are enslaved, that we have no freedom. Now, I do get it. Those that are saying that this 2-week mandatory quarantine is going to be put in place, it's so that we can be protected when they arrest all of the deep state criminals. Now, of course, I'm in favor of the deep state criminals being arrested, as well as all the actors and actresses that have played a role in deceiving us and keeping us in the dark regarding who we are. That's the most important thing. We were created with unalienable rights. The right, as it was enumerated in the Declaration of Independence, the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Isn't that what is supposed to be human freedom? But if you've noticed, more and more, those freedoms have been eroded by a darkly driven agenda of people that seem to be very malevolent and hell-bent on controlling all of us and stealing from us our natural rights, one after another after another. We can't even protect ourselves. In some cases, they're confiscating firearms, which are protected under the Second Amendment in the Bill of Rights. The second one of the Bill of Rights. They were protected. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. What is mysterious about that? What is so difficult to understand about that? we have the right to protect ourselves. But of course, they see that, they being the powers that want to control everybody, they see that as a threat to their game plan. And remember, they're a very small minority of the total population of the world. Of course, the biggest part of the world's population is still underinformed, miseducated, and enslaved by a system, and we don't know any better. I mean, there's lots of things I didn't know, and I'm still learning. And some people even go deeper than I'm willing to go. I mean, they seem to be uh, constantly looking for ways to exonerate themselves and just escape the critical thing. And according to some people, there has to be a means of escape, of getting out of the system. But of course, as soon as a loophole is discovered, and I've seen this for myself, as soon as a loophole is discovered, they tighten the loophole and they still come down on you. And as I've said in other videos, they ended up stealing my home, even though there was an agreement that that wasn't going to happen, that as long as I allowed them to sell the property on Merritt Island, they would allow me to keep my home. Well, they lied. And we have to understand that we live on a planet of deception. That's probably the most accurate description of all. A planet of lies, and our loving God allowed the liars to be in control and allow it to be seen as their world, not a world that's based on truth and justice and freedom, and certainly not love. I mean, it's insane. Now, I'd like my friend that sent this to me to be right. I really would like to see it, but I've been hearing these promises ever since I invested in that alternative currency in June, almost 4 years ago. And none of the promises, none of them have happened. If anything, it's gotten worse. I keep saying that, and I will keep saying it, because I live to see heaven on earth. That's fulfillment to me of my mission and of that which was prophesied on my behalf in my life. From an early age, I was still a teenager when I received some of these messages from God, supposedly, but they haven't happened yet. I'm not getting any younger. I'm still in reasonably good health. I have problems. We all have problems, but I'm hanging on. I'm doing the best I can. And with this scare of this virus going on, I mean, I am breathing with a blow dryer in my face, breathing hot air to kill any viruses that might be in my nasal passages. I'm still, I have been even before this, I'm taking a lot of vitamins and supplements. I did up my intake of vitamin C and order additional supplies. Although, ironically, I get my supplies from Now Foods, and Now Foods is out of quite a few of their vitamin C and very limited supply on the one that I was able to order some of it. But the whole thing, folks, this whole scenario is just, from my perspective, more and more insanity. Yes, I hope my friend and all of my friends that are holding out for an RV to become a reality and to become empowered and enriched enough to be able to help those that are less fortunate than ourselves and uplift humanity all over the planet. I really would like to see that become a reality, but I'm not convinced, and I'm not convinced that we're actually going to be put under quarantine, but it might happen. Thank you for listening, and namaste.